Okay, let's break down this first lick here. We're playing a tune in the key of E, and it's obviously a more of a hard rock style, but the structure of it is really just 12-bar blues, which means the chords you're hearing in the background are E. We're in the key of E. Then the 4 chord is A, and the 5 chord is B. So those are the 3 different chords you're hearing throughout the song, and it's really straightforward 12-bar blues structure. So what I'm going to talk about in these licks is what chords these licks go over and how they transition between the chords. So this first one here, this is basically going from E to A. I think it would work fine just on A, I guess, but the real essence of this lick is the last note. So I'll play through it one time, and you can see what I'm talking about. So it goes a little something like this. So look where that lick lands. It lands like this. It's landing on the A note, the 7th fret on the 4th string here. So the idea here is that you can play this lick going from E to A. Right? It just is an E style lick. Emphasizes some of those key notes from E minor, and chromatically moves up to the A note. Right? So that's really the takeaway here. You can really do anything, and as long as you get to that A note right on that beat where the A chord lands, it's going to sound pretty good. So you have a lot of flexibility here. You can do whatever is comfortable to you. You can do it higher up on the neck. Right? Idea is you're playing notes that go well with E, and then you're landing on the A note. That's really the essence of what we're doing here. So just to talk about that in a little more detail, we're hitting the major 5th, the 5th of E, and then we're working our way down to the minor 3rd of E. So these notes work really well with E. It's a good little roadmap here. Anytime you have the root, and I think I've said this in recent lessons before, knowing where the minor 3rd and the 5th is, there's a nice little roadmap right here, right? I got my root right here. I got my minor 3rd right here. I got my 5 right there. I have my 7 right here, and I have my root again right there. So that little set of notes right there. You can even do it up here. Is always something that's going to really sound good over that chord. There's just so many key notes in that little section of the fretboard next to the root. So I like to think of things in that way. In addition to scales, which is great, that's fine, but from an improvisation standpoint, it's really useful to know these patterns that are not necessarily within a straight scale, right? Right, it gives you a little more flexibility to move up and down the fretboard when you know these other little patterns. So that's it. I hope you got something out of that discussion. I'll play through it one more time. Okay, this next lick is kind of a similar idea in that the focus of the lick is we're landing really strongly on a specific chord tone. In this case, we're landing on the E chord. So the first lick we were landing on the A chord. We worked our way up like this, right? This lick we're landing on the E note to go along with landing on the E chord. The last part of the lick is this. Now just look at the notes in that last part of the lick. The 7 on the first string, the 8 on the second string, and the 5 on the second string. Well, this is the 5 of E, right? This is the minor third of E, the 8. And if you bend it up, it's the major third. Bend it up a half step. And then you have, finally, the 5th fret on the second string is the E. You could also play it like that. In any case, these are notes that are very strong for the E chord, right? And that's the goal here. We're making that transition to the E chord very evident with the notes that we're choosing to play. So keep that in mind. That's where we're working our way up to. Before that, we have just some basic E minor pentatonic stuff. So basically it goes like this. Something like that. Now, again, it really doesn't matter a whole lot what you're doing before you get to this part. You just want to play something that goes with E or A or whatever chord you're playing on pretty well. What you want to focus is landing on those final few notes. So this first part here, you know, do whatever is comfortable to you. You don't need to necessarily play what I'm playing here note for note to get out what you want of this lick. You can do whatever here. Right? As long as you get to there, that's really the target that you're focusing on. That little 3-4 note lick at the end. That's what you're focusing on. Up until then, you're just jamming over that single chord, whether it be the E A or the E. So right? A lot of different things you can do before you get to that last part. That's really the focus of the lick. So I'll play through it again. You know, if you like parts of this lick, definitely learn it. But again, focus of the lick, I've said it many times in this lesson, is that last few notes there. So here it is one more time at a slow speed. Okay, so let's play through this one really quick. It goes something like this. Okay, as you can tell, there's one note that really sticks out in this lick, and it is the last note, right? This 14th fret on the first string. So why is that note important? That note is important because that is the 5th of the B chord. Right? So the idea of this lick is we're playing on E minor and E minor pentatonic scale, and then we're landing on this F sharp note, the 5th of B, to emphasize that transition to the B chord. So the part of the song where this is useful is when we're going to the turnaround and we're going from the E would go into the B, and then after that we'd go back to the A, then we'd go back to the E, right? That part of the 12-bar blues where we get to the 5th chord. The essence of this lick is really simple. It's not a complicated lick. This is basic E minor pentatonic, but the focus is we are landing on this 5th of B at the very end, right? So and notice that note is really emphasized, not only because you're landing on the B chord and that note is there, right? But also because we're not playing it until the very end. Notice that we're not going like, right? We're not playing that F sharp note at all until we get to that chord transition, right? All we're playing notes really close to it. And because we're not playing it, when we do actually play it, when we do land on it, that gives it a lot of emphasis. It really sticks out. It's way different than the notes you were playing before, right? That's what makes a good chord change in a lot of cases. A good way to transition between chords. When you get to that new chord, you play a note that is closely related to the chord you're landing on, right? But it's not closely related to the chord that you're moving from, right? In E, that's the 9th of E, right? Here's E. It would sound like that if you were playing it together over the chord. It's not a really strong chord tone. Whereas these ones are, the ones we're playing up here, these are really strong E minor, E dominant chord tones, because we got the 5th, right? In the B, we got the 7th, flat 7th, we got the root, and we got the minor 3rd. Right? So strong chord tones for the E when we're playing over the E, and then when we get to the B, a strong chord tone for that. You know, a lot of time talking about this subject and a lot of ways to discuss it, but you know, that's really the bottom line. You're playing strong chord tones over the chord that you're landing on. And it's really as simple as that. So at that point, it's just a matter of knowing what your chord tones are and knowing where they are. And that comes down to, of course, you know, arpeggios and scales and things like that. But more so, just keeping that top of mind as you're playing. As you're playing, you should be thinking, where on this chord, you know, where's my root, where's my flat 7, where's my minor 3rd, and just by keeping that thought process top of mind, you'll slowly build up speed in being able to identify those notes, right? You play 1,000 times and you're thinking through your head, I'm playing E and here's the notes that I play. It soon becomes second nature, which notes are the good notes to land on, right? So, so more than anything, however you're practicing your notes or scales, arpeggios, or whatever, I think the most important thing is to keep those thoughts in mind as you're playing. You know, if you have just an exercise and you get really good at an exercise, but you're not, transitioning to that to your actually to when you're actually playing, you're not really getting much out of that exercise, right? So, so that would be my advice: is focusing intently as you're playing on how the notes you're playing relate to the underlying chord. And you'll get faster and faster at that if you take that approach.